Well, hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. I have to be the Tenkaichi of gaming. It's the Ichigo Musco, but you know me on YouTube as Izzy7. Today, I'd like to cover a film review. Well, actually, I'd like to cover a film that I actually watched yesterday. And that movie, as I like to call it, is called Fullmetal Alchemist-The Sacred Star of Milos, otherwise known as Hagarin the Movie 2011. Now this, like many other FMA titles, is an original story. It is quite far the possibly best movie I've seen since Conqueror of Shamballa, and I have that too. But about this movie, it's about the Elric Brothers in a new part of the world which somewhat resembles Spain. It's called Table City, whereas the opposite of where they're stationed in, which kind of resembles Britain. England, not Britain, England. So, of course, they're looking for more research to get their bodies back. So, they come across a young girl by the name of Julia Crichton, and she has been traumatized by a murder that happened when she was a child. Now, because of this, she hasn't the slightest idea of what happened to her brother. All she knows, she saw what happened to her parents, and therefore she found them hung and bleeding to death. And their work totally disappeared from view. Now, it's about the story is really about the Sacred Star of Milos, which, if you don't know, it's really a form of the Philosopher's Stone, in which the Elric Brothers are trying to look for, just to find a way to get their bodies back. Now, this movie is 110 minutes long. And of course, it's done by Aniplex and Funimation. And if you know anything about Funimation, they never disappoint, whereas getting good anime out from overseas to U.S. ground. My thoughts about this movie when I first saw it, of course, if you really want to know what happens, you have to get this movie yourself. Because I'm just only going to tell you that this movie, whether you are a fan of the series, whether it's the anime, the manga, or hell, even the video games, if you are a fan of Hagarin no Renkin Jutsushi or Fullmetal Alchemist, this by far is probably the best I've seen out of the two FMA movies. I mean, yes, I can tell you this, the action scenes, well, actually, let me start from this, not the action scenes, but let me start from the story. The story is well drawn out. It keeps a nice pace. It knows when to pick up and it knows where to slow down, so therefore you can actually just go with it. The action scenes, damn, I say the action scenes are just freaking deliciously awesome. That's right, deliciously awesome. Like, for one, you have, I can describe one scene in which Ed clashes off with Atlas. If you don't know who Atlas is, Atlas was head security who was in the guise of Julia's brother. And pretty much there was a fight scene right at the very end of the movie, and I have to say, goddamn. I mean, it went from hand to hand to full-blown alchemic combat. And I have to say, I've never seen anything so awesome like that since Brotherhood. And I've seen all of Brotherhood as well as the first movie. I mean, the first series, namely called Fullmetal Alchemist, whereas, you know, the second series is called Brotherhood. Now, what you don't know is that this movie alone, when it first came out in Japan, pulled in about a cool $7 million. A cool $7 million. And you know, as fast as Japan is, whenever a good movie comes out, it instantly goes to DVD like a month after. I believe it's a month after the public screening of it, you know, in theaters. So consider this: Fullmetal Alchemist is one of those kind of anime that it can make you squeamish if you are not aware of what's going on. Most people who have seen Fullmetal Alchemist, namely, whenever they see Fullmetal Alchemist, they usually get into it until they reach that one point in the series, namely that one point in the series, and both versions have not changed, is Sho Tucker. If you don't know who Sho Tucker is, let me explain. In the series, there is a certain alchemist who has been struggling for a count of 2 years or more. And what he did was unthinkable. What he did was he actually used his wife at first as a scientific experiment. Thus, he's trying to make a chimera. Of course, if you have not followed the series, you know, I could tell you this, but if you have followed the series, you know what happened to Mr. Sho Tucker. In any case, this is like the one part of the show in which the viewers just basically just can't look at it. They can't go past beyond that part because it's just too much. Anyway, when the Elrics visit the Tucker house, they manage to make friends with Sho's daughter. So basically, after all this, you know, he's kind of wrapped up in his work, kind of not wrapped up in his work. He's actually possessed by his work, which is why I'll never become a workaholic. I just don't see the point in that. Especially if you're over-obsessed with what you're doing. But anyway, moving on. Fast forward. The Elrics make a startling discovery. And that startling discovery happens to be that the new Chimera happens to be Tucker's little daughter and the family dog meshed together as one. Now, seeing as though, it's an abomination. Seeing as it's an abomination of life itself, the Elrics are more than likely shocked. Ed is by far very, very displeased. Actually, he's very pissed, and therefore he gives Tucker a few shots of his own, just because of what he just did. Now, we fast forward through the scene, and therefore, this is where most of the viewers just stop watching. Now, there's an Ish Fallen that shows up by the name of Scar. And what Scar does is he actually puts the Chimera out of its misery. He puts Tucker out of his misery first, then the Chimera. Haven't found him. Haven't found him. Haven't seen him.
Huh?
Haven't seen him.
I don't know what I did. I had him yesterday.
Yeah. I haven't seen him. Anyway, point is this. This is where most of the fan base has fallen. Well, not the fan base, but the viewers. Because since the scene was so... Since the scenes were so graphic... One moment. Since the scenes in both versions were so graphic, I think in the original Fullmetal Alchemist anime, it was very graphic. So graphic it couldn't be seen. In Brotherhood, not so much graphic, but still, it made its point to the viewers. But like I said, this is where most of the viewers just basically leave that series just because of that one part of the series. And it's very early on in the series. So, getting back on topic. The Sacred Star of Milos is by far a decent, but nonetheless a smooth movie. I can tell you, and I can attest to this, that if you've seen any anime movie that can somehow bring some, action to you, you can look for you can see no more action than Fullmetal Alchemist, because it does not fail on the action. It has its moments. It has its slow moments. It has, mainly in the movies, there's very little to no comedy moments, but that's okay. I can deal. Because, in the anime you have more comedy moments. You would see more comedy moments in the anime than you would see in the movie. Aside from that, it's a great movie. It's worth getting, and it's also worth watching. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the series or not. But if you like a good anime movie, this is one of my picks. I recommend this as a good pick if you like Fullmetal Alchemist, or if you just like anime, or if you like action. That works both ways. But in any case, yeah, basically it's just a good movie for you to try out, And as I mentioned before, don't knock it, So don't try to say you hate anime or you don't like anime. I said, if you never watched anime, try one. Don't just knock it. Don't knock it till you try it. That's how I see things. Just try it first. If you don't like it, that's okay. But in any case, yes, I know it's quite active over here. It's quite active over here, so you know you're getting a lot of background going on. So in any case, if I were to give this movie a 5-star treatment, I'd give Fullmetal Alchemist a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, it has moments of actions. The story just keeps going. After whether you watch it dub or you watch it in subs. The great thing about Fullmetal Alchemist is that even when in movie formats, it may branch off from the series by just a slight margin, but break into its own story nonetheless, which I do like. And that's mainly where the video games come into play. They do that. They basically start off like you're actually from in the series, and then it branches off into its own story. So that is my view of Fullmetal Alchemist, The Sacred Star of Milos, aka Hagarin the Movie 2011. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the Tenkaichi of Gaming. Spooky Izzy 7. And I recommend this movie if you like action, anime, or the series itself. So until then, folks, take care, God bless, and Tenkai! Muso.